Alright, what's up everybody? We're making this video for Simply C, our subscriber who asked how we converted our water heater from 120 volt to 12 volt. Thank you for the question, and I apologize for not getting this video out sooner. This is going to be a short video because, well, it's pretty easy to do, and because my neck sort of hurts leaning back like this. Let's go over how we did this, but first we'll tell you why we did it. Converting 120 to 12 volt will save you power. And as you all are aware, saving power is really important. We have a 600 amp hour battery bank, and we want to save as much power as possible, make sure we're always having hot showers. So we converted it to 12 volt. There's no inverting that needs to happen to get this puppy heated up. So let's get into what materials we used and how we put it together. First, I do want to tell you, I'm not going to go over our entire electrical system in this video. I'll save that for another video. And I won't talk about wire sizing, fuse sizing, or anything like that, because there's a lot of information from people who are more qualified to talk about that on YouTube and on the internet. So take a look, make sure that your fuses are sized properly and your wires are sized properly. We'll tell you what we did, but do that on your own. I'm not going to advise you on what to do for that. So let's go over the equipment. We grabbed a 2.5 gallon Rheem water heater, and we removed the heating element. We purchased a Door-Nord heating element on Amazon that was a 12 volt heating element. We got a 300 watt heating element. We removed the heating element from the heater and put that 12 volt in. It fit perfectly. There were other options like a 600 watt, I believe, that would potentially get the water hotter or heat faster, but it used a lot of power and required higher fuses, switches, and larger gauge wires. So we went for the 300. And I'll tell you about how fast this heats up and how much power it draws a little bit later. But let's stick with what we're doing now and talk about how we did it. Let me show you. We removed this outer guard, and behind it was the heating element, as you can see here. It's sort of stuck to this fiberglass. Shit, I hope that doesn't get in my fingers. Alright, we removed that outside cover, and behind it you'll see the heating element and a thermostat. We cranked up the thermostat as hot as it could go, which I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but it's been working for us. We removed this heating element here. So you'll grab channel locks or a wrench and unscrew this. First, remove these wires right here that are behind this fiberglass. Sorry I'd move this, but I don't want fiberglass getting in my fingers. And then you pull out this heating element. Make sure, of course, there's no power going to this, or make sure you don't have any water in it or anything like that. Remove this heating element and then replace it with the one that you get on Amazon. After that, you will need to remove the 120 volt wires that are going into the ground, hot, and neutral. That will come from right over here. You'll see a fitting that you'll need to pull out. These two wires that we put in are the two wires coming from our 12 volt system. One being the hot and one being the negative. So you'll just replace that as easy as that is. We did it on these top two terminals over here because that's where the power was going before from the 120 volt system. We remove that, you replace it, and then we run that up to our 12 volt system, which I'll show you in a moment. It's really that easy. This is the thermostat. There was some information online from others saying that the thermostat will stop working properly when you remove the 120 volt power. And that may be the case. We put ours on a switch, so we just crank it up, get it hot, and then when we're done using it, we turn it off. So we don't really worry about having it stay hot with the thermostat throughout the day. So this is our pretty rat's nest looking distribution panel in here, both for the 120 and the 12 volt. You'll notice that this fuse is a different color. It's a 30 amp fuse because that is what the requirements were for that size heating element. Your heating element should tell you which terminals are positive and which terminals are negative. And make sure that you check that out and you put the proper wire to the proper terminal. And then that should be reflected up here as well. We put our water heater in a pan that we made out of wood. Just in case it ever broke, it wouldn't leak into our garage. We filled the inside of the pan with Flex Seal, and it rubberized it and waterproofed it, so we made our own custom sized pan. Over here at our kitchen, we have some switches. One is for our ball valve to drop our gray water, one is for the sink, the water pump, and then one is for the water heater. All right, and finally, it takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes for it to heat up. And it only draws about 15 to 20 amps in that hour and 15 minutes. And one last word of caution. The switches that we got that I showed you, they were rated for 35 amps, which should have been enough, but one of ours burned out. So we had to upgrade to a larger or stronger, more capacity, higher rating switch. That one's been doing well so far, but it does get pretty hot at the connections.
That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Oh, Daddy. Oh, Lord. Oh, my Lord.
So what we did is we bought a new one that's a larger main switch like you'd see for a battery bank, just to be safe, and we're installing that underneath the sink to replace this switch. So this one will be used for something else or just to look pretty, I guess. I got some fiberglass in my thumb, that hurts. All right, Simply C and everyone else, I hope that answers your question. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the banter box below. I'd love to answer them. See you in the next video. We'll be talking about how we put together our solar system on the roof and the custom rack that we built. See you soon.